Hey, good morning, church. Welcome to another Straight Talk. Hope that you're having a good Saturday morning. And this morning we have a really fun guest. I'm biased though, because it is Anna Barse, Catherine and I's daughter, and we asked her just to come in and share a little bit about her experience this year, being on her gap year, and just the challenges and the storms that she's walked through, and just give us a little bit about what she's been experiencing. So, all right. Well, welcome, Anna.
Thanks. Yeah.
And Anna's got a Noah's Ark shirt on. She's working at Noah's Ark this summer, which has been kind of bizarre since all the COVID-19 thing. It's not a normal summer, but
Yeah, it's a little different.
making the best of it. Well, Anna, there's a few people who haven't heard what you did last year that are new to watching our Straight Talk. So tell us a little bit about the World Race and what got you into doing a gap year.
Yeah. So the World Race is an organization where they take young adults and we travel for 9 months doing mission work and just kind of learning what it looks like to live in a community. And so we headed out in September and we went to Guatemala for 3 months. And our route was supposed to be Guatemala, Ethiopia, and Thailand, and then potentially Malaysia. And then so we got to go to Guatemala for 3 months, and then we got to Ethiopia, and I actually got sick, had to be flown to Kenya to get surgery there, and was there for about a month, and then was sent back home to heal up. And so it's kind of been a crazy journey. And then I was home for about 2 months, and then I got to go back to meet my team and all of them in Thailand, and was there for about 2 weeks, and then got sent home for
It's been
COVID.
a roller coaster.
So, yeah.
It's been a roller coaster. Well, before we get into all the challenges that you've gone through, tell us some of the highlights of being on the race, and what are some things that stick out to you from the time that you did get to be on the field?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just our squad was really awesome. I was in a group of about 40 other people.
And that's the squad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then we were kind of broken up into 7 teams, kind of ranging from 5 to 8 people in each. And so, I had an awesome team, and we just got really close. We're able to just kind of bond over just our similarities and differences, and just kind of learn what it looks like to live with 5 other girls, and serve and learn and heal and grow through that. And so we just kind of got to grow through that. There were definitely hard times, and just uncomfortable times through that. Living with 5 girls is not always the easiest.
Right. In Guatemala, you guys were
Yeah.
all in the same room, and just 24/7 being together and ministering and being out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Catherine and I got to see a glimpse of just the connection they had when we took Anna back to Thailand, and got to see just the bond that they had and meet the parents of those students. And it was really a community like I've never seen, as far as you guys, the connection that you had was really a special time. Well, the first major challenge you faced, you came off of Guatemala, which I think was a lot like you hoped it would be. I mean, Guatemala was just a great experience.
Yeah, and I think going into it, my goal and just my expectations for what I thought it would look like was kind of just everything that Guatemala was, of just, like really pressing into growth and just healing in just kind of my life, and just like building a good relationship with the Lord, and just learning a lot about his character, and also just building relationships with people in Guatemala, relationships that we still are pursuing and keep up with, which is awesome. So
and it was so amazing to see all the good things that were happening. You got to New York City, which was your back to States. You were there for just a short amount of time, hit Chick-fil-A,
like 24 hours.
did this crazy stay up all night.
Yeah.
And then you guys fly into Ethiopia, which was a completely different culture than what you had been a part of, completely different surroundings. And tell us a little bit about what happened in Ethiopia. When did you start getting sick, and what kind of transpired?
Yeah, I think I was there for about 2 weeks, or actually just a week before I started getting sick, and it was definitely just a lot of transition with jet lag and culture shock. It's a very different culture. And we also met up with another squad, and so that first week we were with them, kind of just debriefing our first few months. It was a group, an older group, people that had already graduated from college, and 21 years and older. And so it was cool to just be able to just learn from them, but also just be able to relate on a lot of different levels. And so, and then after that, there were a few of us girls who started to get sick, and we went to a couple different doctors and got some medication. Just they thought it was a bacteria infection just from the food, and so.
And tell us about what it would like. Give us a picture, an idea of what going to the doctor in Ethiopia is like, because we think about driving down here to the clinic and having a receptionist.
Not like that. So we walked about 2 miles to the doctor, which was just not fun.
After you're so sick.
Yeah, after we were all so sick. And we get there, and they don't really speak much English, so we have a translator. And there's about 10 of us, and so we kind of just wait to see a doctor. And they actually start by calling like 2 or 3 of us in at a time, and we just talk to the doctor in there. And he basically just diagnoses us all together. And then
gives you all the same thing.
Yeah. And so some of us were different, and so we would go get a couple tests done, and that was very interesting. We had to do a stool sample just to make sure that we didn't have parasites or anything, and it was just this little outhouse in the middle of this field of cows that we went out. And that was...
They just give you a stick, right?
Yep, yeah. And so that was different.
Yeah. So all of you guys got medication and started taking that, and everyone else in your team started to feel better, and you kept getting...
Yeah, and so everyone started getting better, and there was still 3 of us that were still throwing up and just still had fevers and just not doing well. And so we actually went to another clinic that was private, and we went in and they gave us IVs and just some glucose shots just to kind of get us up and going, just because we were so
dehydrated.
Sick. Yeah. And so after that, we felt great. They also gave us pain medicine, so that just really...
And who knows what that was,
yeah. I don't know what any of the medication was that they gave us, but we just wanted it, so... But, yeah, so we went back that night, and everyone else was doing great. The 2 other girls just kind of got back up on their feet and started doing better. But I actually woke up the next morning doing much worse, probably twice as worse than I was before, had been. And so I honestly couldn't get out of my bed. And so one of the girls on my team went and got the squad leaders, and we were able to get a truck to take us to the hospital, which is about 4 hours away from us.
And you guys rode in basically like a delivery truck, right?
Yes, it was a delivery truck.
So.
Yeah, which we were very thankful for, because if that delivery truck hadn't come, we would have had to pay $300 to get to the city. So we were thankful not to have to pay, but there were 6 of us crammed in a five-person little truck. So, and the roads were probably, the worst dirt roads that you could imagine.
Right.
And having appendicitis, that's not.
Right, which you didn't know yet, but you were feeling that pain, that intense pain.
Yeah.
Going in.
Yeah.
You head to Addis Ababa, took you 4 hours, and get to the emergency room. And this is where we intersect a little bit after they got there, because Anna texted me and said, Dad, I want to talk to you. And this was, for us, really exciting, because we didn't expect to talk to her. They didn't have any cell phone service or anything for a long time.
Yeah.
We thought it would maybe be after Christmas. And so I was like, so excited. I was coming home from a basketball game. And so when we finally got home and connected, you were calling to tell me what?
Yeah, that I had appendicitis, and they were flying me to Kenya.
Yeah.
And it was a crazy thing, because like looking back at it now, I just don't think that I really knew what was going on. Mm-hmm. I was so, like, honestly malnourished, and just couldn't really accept the fact that was actually happening. I was just going with the flow. So to me, it wasn't a huge deal.
Right.
Everyone else, it was kind of crazy.
We were kind of freaking out.
Yeah. But
yeah, and that took a while for you to get out of Ethiopia. There was some neat things that happened there. You had a friend that stayed with you.
Yeah, so one of my squad leaders stayed. I was in the hospital in Ethiopia for about 3 days. They put me on antibiotics and pain meds, strong pain meds, because of the pain. And yeah, it was definitely just a different experience, because the doctors were not on time with anything. We had to ask for all my medication, and yeah, they just weren't really trained like they are here. Yeah. So it was very different for sure. So
yeah, and you did get a connection with an African pastor there. Yep. Lulu, is that his name, Pastor?
Lulu, yeah.
Yeah, Lulu, and I've actually got to stay connected with him through these prayer meetings on Tuesdays. But he came and visited you and prayed for you, and the doctors had kind of thought you were okay after a while. You were supposed to fly out, but then with the pain medicine, they thought you were doing good, right. And they were gonna send Anna back, and actually found out later that the reason that her X-ray had changed was because her appendix had broke. Her appendix had broke.
Had burst.
Burst there. So meanwhile, Catherine is getting ready to fly out, and lots of crazy God stories about getting there. But eventually, you get to Kenya, and Kenya was, it seems like to me, a place where you just really saw God's hand of healing on you and opening doors into that church community.
Yeah. So I flew out and got to Kenya into the emergency room an hour after my mom had gotten there, which was awesome, because I could not have I was flying there alone. There were 2 other nurses with me, but I couldn't really even function to do the insurance or figure out all that. So it was awesome that she was there. So then a few hours after I got in, I went into surgery that night, came out a couple hours later, and they had just found out that it had burst, and so they ended up leaving my incision open, which is probably about this big.
Right.
And so I ended up having to go in for about 3 weeks every day to get it cleaned out. And if I was in the States, they would have just put a vacuum on it and it would have cleaned by
Right.
itself. But they just didn't have that technology. And so every day we would go back and forth to the hospital to get that cleaned out.
And tell us a little bit about where you were staying and how that all transpired, because you were in the hospital. We didn't know anybody in Kenya, but it seemed like God sent some people to kind of connect with you in that moment.
Yeah, so there was kind of a far off connection, and this pastor on Christmas Day came to visit me and just pray for me, and he just kind of asked where we were staying and what our plan was after I got out of the hospital, and we just hadn't gotten that far, and so he offered to let us stay at his retreat center, which he kind of started up and has now for just different retreats and missionaries that come in, and so we were able to stay there, which 3 meals a day, and he provided rides for us, which is incredible.
Each time, and came in and ministered to you too, just in prayer and different things. Yeah. And that community has become kind of like family to our family.
Yeah.
In all of that.
Yeah.
So you were there how long altogether in Africa, in Kenya?
About 3 weeks.
3 weeks
in
from
Kenya,
the surgery.
Yeah.
And we kept trying to get you home, and as we tried to get you home, it would be not yet. The doctor kept saying not yet, not yet. The other amazing thing was the people that God provided for you as far as doctors and nurses that really cared for you guys, and you became friends with them, and Peter from Young Life came to visit you.
Yeah.
One of the things I remember you saying about being on the world race when we talked to you in Guatemala is you'd had all this change going on in your heart and ways that you were experiencing God, and there was a little bit of nervousness about coming home and getting back to normal.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And you thought that would be far off, but what was it like to go from this experience of Kenya to, getting back to BV?
Yeah, I think it was definitely very different than I thought, of just what I had expected of what it would look like to come home. I think that definitely was a fear, like you said, of just, just finding out, kind of just digging deeper into who I was, just into a relationship with the Lord, and then kind of just coming back and trying to figure out what that looked like at home, in a place where I was just so different.
You'd seen so much change in your worldview and in your life. And it was still kind of moment by moment, wasn't it, as you got back? It wasn't like you got back and everything was just okay. Yeah. You continued to have challenges.
Right.
And
still lots of doctor's appointments. Just different things I was taking out of a community that I loved and just didn't have that here.
Yeah. All right. All this is so hard. So much. Well, and that friendship group was in Ethiopia, and they were so far away, it wasn't like you could stay connected with them either, which became more and more of a distance for everything.
Yeah, they didn't have phone service all the time. So.
Or Wi-Fi or anything. As we were journeying with you, it was kind of like, well, maybe you can go back, maybe you can't go back, maybe you can go back. You developed a cyst in the midst of that. Yeah. And lots of tests, we didn't know what was going on with that, but it just seemed like there was a constant thing since the beginning of the year of wait and see, and see, to see if you were even going to be able to join your team back.
Yeah.
As you started to see that as a possibility to go back to the team and field, they had gotten to Thailand, and then all of a sudden the door was open.
Yeah.
and we were able to come back. What was it like for you to reconnect with your team and be back on mission?
Yeah, I think there were definitely fears involved with that too, because we hadn't seen each other in about 2 months.
And they had experienced so much.
Yes,
yeah.
and I had experienced much different things. And so there was definitely, I feel like just in a vulnerable spot of, man, like I don't know how they're feeling about this. I haven't talked to them. We were going to be talking for the first time when I saw them.
Right.
And so it was just kind of a crazy feeling of, man, I don't know what this is going to be like. Is it going to be something where we're just kind of back to where we started, or are we going to kind of have to rekindle kind of some of those relationships? But it was really awesome. We kind of got back to square one, and just kind of back where we started when I left.
Tell us about that moment of we were staying there. We were in Thailand, had finally gotten there, and we were walking from our hotel down to reconnect with the team.
Yeah, that was very, very fun. They just all came out to greet me, and just a really fun reconnection.
Yeah, it was like a celebration.
Yeah.
And so fun for us to put all these faces to names and connections. Well, we had a blast in Thailand. We were there with all the other families. What were a couple highlights for you for the Thailand trip? People that you connected with?
Yeah, I think it was cool, because looking back, it's cool to just see all the relationships that the Lord kind of ordained, and just kind of got a quick start on.
Yeah.
And we didn't even know that we'd be leaving 2 months early.
Right.
And so we just made really deep connections very quickly, and just kind of started cooking classes with this lady that lived next to us, and it was just really hard to say goodbye.
Right.
And then in this coffee shop that we were kind of volunteering in, and
the Bella Goose.
And just like pouring into these women that work there, we just became really close with them. And so it's definitely hard to leave them as well, just because we thought we would have
more time.
Yeah,
just watching you guys just in the week that we were there start to build those relationships. And we got to spend some time hearing their stories about what God had done in their life. The coffee shop it's a ministry, but in several different ways. But one of the main ways is taking these Thai girls and giving them just a place to work and a community and a discipleship, and a home too. We got to go see their home and things like that.
Yeah.
One of the things we did was do a prayer walk and ministry in what they call the red light district.
Yes. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, I think was definitely something that you would never imagine. We got to do kind of a prayer walk through the day, and then just kind of see the drastic change of what it looks like during the day and then what it looks like at night. Not a lot of people know kind of what goes on there, but it's just this street. There's a lot of bars and kind of massage parlors, and they're just fronts for just a greater business of just a lot of prostitution that a lot of women choose into just because of their lives. They don't have a lot of other options, and so it's definitely, once they get in there, a lot of those girls are very young, and so once they get into that, it's very hard to come out, just because there's not a lot else for them, and it's a big big income for their families. And so it's definitely just heartbreaking because they're hurting, and you know that they have so much potential that they just can't see.
Yeah, so we got to pray, to start some conversations, to go out during that evening and kind of see the reality of that, which was really eye-opening. Got to do some work projects. We also got to do some fun stuff, like elephants. Tell us about the elephants. That was probably a highlight for all of us.
We just honestly got to just go run around with elephants, feed them, and bathe them, swim around with them.
Make vitamin balls for them, and that was quite the experience.
Different.
Yeah. So we were there as having a great time that week, and then as we were heading, as we were getting ready to head out, all the COVID-19 stuff starts to come up. Our planes get delayed, a lot of cancellations. But honestly, because of what was going on in Thailand, I thought, hey, we're gonna get out of here and we're gonna be able to stay. But we got home. Tell us a little bit about how that transition happened for you guys, getting back home.
Like when you guys left that week, so it was an awesome. We got a week just kind of getting into our ministries and just kind of pouring into the Thai people. We also just got to explore, just kind of get into a rhythm of what it would look like for our daily lives living there for a few months. It was definitely different from the other countries that we had been to, just because we were looking at just making relationships quicker than usual, just because we were only going to have a month in Thailand and then move on to another country. And so we just kind of were transitioning into what that would look like, and just kind of catching up. I was just catching up with the squad just over the last couple months of just what it looked like for them and what it looked like for me, and just kind of getting back
to that rhythm. Yeah. And then it was like the night before, it was a Saturday night, wasn't it? Something like that. And you let us know we're leaving tomorrow. And all of a sudden.
We actually woke up. We were planning on going to church with a couple of the Thai girls that we were really close with, and we woke up and our squad leader kind of went around and called us all together for an emergency meeting, which the week before there were a lot of emails coming out of different squads being sent home, and we were just kind of praying that we wouldn't be one of them.
Right.
And so it was definitely just something that we were not expecting, just because Thailand was one of the countries that were kind of on the safer side with COVID getting started, and we just didn't think we would be getting sent home, especially at that point. So
well, having to come home early from Ethiopia and experiencing all that was a huge challenge and storm, and then having to come back early for this with COVID-19. Tell us just a little bit about how you're doing in this, and what are you processing as far as all the change and really a lot of loss. I know this is still really raw for you.
Yes. I think it was just hard for all of us because it was coming home for real.
Right. No hope of going back.
Not what we expected. The goodbyes were very flustered. We didn't really get to debrief the race as a squad. As soon as we got into LA, we kind of just dispersed and went back home. And then we were just quarantined. And for a lot of them, they hadn't seen their friends or family for 7 months. And so it was difficult. Just a lot of questions. I think just a lot of anger and confusion.
Yeah, it seemed like, what do we do with all the God seemed to miraculously open this door for you to go back.
Right.
And now all of a sudden you're home again,
Yeah.
and what do we, what do we make of this?
Right.
It's just
confusing.
confusing.
And it was a hard time for our whole country. Everyone involved, our whole world. And so it just a bigger shock with that of just coming back and really looking at what does it look like to live a missional life, and to live with hearts for the Lord, looking to serve people and love people well when we're all quarantined. And so it's definitely been a process of, just coming together from our different states of, what are we learning? What's the difficulty of this? And then even just coming out of it of just, what are things that we have been able to do and seen the Lord work through all of this, even though we lost so much from all of this.
How does he want to redeem this time? And trying to say what's next for all of this. Well, there's been a lot of people praying for you on this journey, and a lot of a sense that God's hand has been on you, and just have a deep sense that God's gonna redeem this time and give you a next step, because that's one of the things you're praying about right now that you are home for a while, is to say, okay, Lord, how do you want to use this, and do you want to bring me back to serve in another country, or do you have something for me now? Kind of one last question. If you had somebody that were to ask you, even with all the craziness you've been through, hey Anna, I'm thinking about traveling the world with a gap year, and doing the world race. What would you tell them?
I would say, if you feel like if that's something that the Lord is calling you to, definitely, no question. Go for it for sure.
Do you feel like you have regrets? Or do you feel like you would, if you could do it all over again, you'd take the leap of faith?
Absolutely, for sure.
Even with all the disappointments. The lessons learned and the friendships that you had and all that.
For sure.
Well, I love you, and thanks for doing this. I know it's still really tender, and it's still a lot of emotions around all that, and you're still processing a lot of what God's done, and all that's been lost, and some of the hopes and dreams that you had for all this. So, well, let me pray for you, and thank you for sharing your heart, and thank you for sharing some of the journey, and we look forward to what God's going to do in you and through you.
Absolutely.
Heavenly Father, thank you so much for my daughter, Anna, and the journey she's been on. Lord, thank you for sustaining our family. Thank you for healing her and redeeming her. God, there's just so much to be thankful for. But Lord, we also bring before you all that's been lost, and all the ways that this seems confusing. And it hurts my heart as a dad to not have Anna be able to experience all that she wanted. But I know that you have lessons, and you have things to show her. And I pray, God, that you would continue to reveal yourself to her, continue to help her to see herself through your eyes, and this experience, Lord, through your eyes. And I pray you'd use this to encourage others that have gone through hard times, just of your presence in her life and in our life as a family. So we love you. We pray for all those that might watch this, that Anna's story might be an encouragement of your faithfulness, and even through the ups and the downs and the storms. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. Well, thanks for joining us, and I hope that you have a great rest of your Saturday. And thank you, church family, for all the ways that you have supported our family, supported Anna, prayed, and walked with us through this. And I don't know if you sense it, but it feels like the story is not near over, and God's got a lot that he still wants to do in and through Anna. So thanks for listening and joining us. God bless. Have a great day.